Morning, the president appears to be rallying expertise as the economy continues to struggle and even defy logic. President Bola Tinubu has now set up a tripartite economic advisory committee comprising representatives from the federal and state governments, including organized private sector. The inauguration of the advisory team took place during a meeting of stakeholders at the State House in Abuja. Let's take a listen to the president.
What we are doing right and what we are doing wrong, to bring life back to the economy. Like I said many times, the people of this country are only the people we have to please. And we are very much concerned, from the students to mothers, fathers, the farmers, the traders, and realizing that every one of us, we have to fetch water from the same well. We are looking for additional efforts that might help the downtrodden Nigerians, and we will provide that hope and the assurance that the economic recovery is on its way. We are not saying that we have all the answers, but we will not be blamed for not to try. We assure Nigerians that we will do our best to get our Marshall Plan in place and fashion out the best economic future for this country.
President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu. And now to the alarm raised by the Nigerian Labour Congress, alleging that the government intends to disrupt a proposed two-day nationwide protest over economic hardship beginning from tomorrow, February 27, barring any last-minute changes. The NLC identifies a civil society group known as the Nigeria Civil Society Forum as the proxy deployed to allegedly unleash violence on demonstrators. A statement by its president, Mr. Joe Ajaero, says, as citizens, we have a fundamental right to a peaceful protest, and history bears us witness that our protests are always peaceful except in instances of state-engineered violence. The NLC therefore warns that any attack on workers under whatever guise will result to immediate strike action and calls on the international community to protect the right of workers to protest. Now, the rights activist and senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, has asked the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, to provide security for the workers during a two-day nationwide protest. The union had on February 16 announced the protest will hold on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is tomorrow and the next, to persuade the federal government to intervene in the current economic challenges experienced by citizens and also fulfill that 2023 agreement over welfare issues or be prepared for an indefinite strike. Citing Section 83, Subsection 4 of the Police Establishment Act, the senior lawyer, in a letter to Mr. Fagbemi, says the AGF is compelled by law to ensure that the safety of demonstrators are assured, while appealing to the organized labor to conduct themselves quite peacefully. And now to the appeal by the interim administrator of the Presidential Advisory Amnesty Program, to state and local government to serve their citizens and ensure they are empowered adequately. Retired Major General Barry Ndiomo, who was speaking during an exclusive interview with Channels Television, says the state of the Niger Delta, for instance, would have been better if the various states as well as local government were more involved in the service and development of their citizens.
One of the reasons why we we have a lot of these pockets of crisis across Nigeria is because of the failure of government at the state and local government levels. Children who have not been afforded the opportunity of being educated, unemployment, of course it leads to unemployment, and even youth unemployability. So it's a twin thing. If you are not educating them, then please provide them with the skills so they do not become useless to society. And I think these things are absent in some of these states. The presidential amnesty program was and is an ad hoc arrangement. It should not become a permanent institution in our society.
Now you can catch the full conversation with General Diomo. Watch Newsnight tonight by 9 p.m. right here on Channels Television. Now, it was a sad Sunday for the Minister of State for the FCT after fire engulfed our private residence in the nation's capital. Nothing was said to have been salvaged from the Justice Roslyn Okeji Close residence of Mrs. Mairiga Mahmood, as emergency services were reported not to have responded promptly. According to reports, the media aide to the minister confirmed the incident but could not disclose the cause of the fire outbreak as it is still being investigated. Let's move on now. The Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, says front-end partners with high infraction rates will not be onboarded again as the Commission lifts the suspension order placed on some of them. She also adds that the payment for service delivery due to the EPs or FEPs is currently ongoing and therefore expects more Nigerians to be enrolled for the NIM.
One of the things that we factored into place was for us to check in the back end to obviously validate and verify that the total number of names they claim they have generated is what we're actually going to pay them, which is the normal process.
Let's now talk business. The high exchange rate for cargo clearance by the Customs Service can force importers to divert their cargo to neighboring countries and predisposes goods to smuggling. That warning is actually coming from the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, that's CPPE, who are advising the central bank to address the surge by over 40% in the last 2 months. The founder of the CPPE, Mr. Muda Yusuf, who in a statement commended the Apex Bank decision to allow the use of exchange rates specified in the import documentation, that's from M, from the beginning of the import process, also seeks immediate attention to address cargo clearance costs in line with government's aim to reduce hardship among citizens. Heading outside our shows now to some international story. War can be quite costly. It's perhaps why the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, says 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed during Russia's full-scale invasion, with many injured. It is not common for Ukrainian officials to make casualty figures public, but this comes after the defense minister said half of all Western aid for Ukraine has been delayed, costing lives and territory. President Zelensky says he was providing an updated death toll in response to inflated figures that Russia claims the other time. Let's now head to the world of sports. Another silverware now sits in the trophy cabinet for the Reds at Anfield after Virgil van Dijk's header at time gave Liverpool a remarkable Carabao Cup final win over Chelsea at Wembley. Even with the compliments of some of its top stars, or without it, I should say, Liverpool got a 10th triumph in the competition. Jurgen Klopp, who is on the verge of saying goodbye to Anfield, has achieved the first part of what people consider a potential quadruple, but it was a sad blow for Chelsea and manager Mauricio Pochettino. Well, those are the stories we've been tracking for you.